we have to start at the Manchester derby. And we're joined by Nedum Onuoha. Nedum, City go and win 4-1. And can I use the old cliche of the game of two halves, where in the first half, United kind of keep it close. They play reasonably well for a while. And in the second half, they just fall apart.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to describe it. But, you know, that second half from City, you could see them at times just go through the gears. And for United, you know, at times I felt like they had that strategy in the first half was a good strategy for that moment. But the moment there's a chance for them to lose belief in it, it seemed like the belief went. And then they can't revert back to something which has stood them in good stead because they've been struggling for a long part of the season. So then before you know it, for City, like, they look really comfortable. And that's the thing about them. They've got a set identity, as do other really successful teams around the world. And when you go up against them, if they can get into that, it's going to be a tough game for you. And it was crazy to see, like, this is a derby game. And for 15 minutes, City had 92% possession.
Yeah, but we're going to
As a professional footballer, at no point should you be on a field and that happens, especially because it's 11 versus 11, because there are teams with less talent that have done better than United did in that second half. So you have to ask a lot of questions. So in the end, you know, it's a great day for Man City. Obviously, it's 3 points, hopefully, for them towards the title. But it really felt like a statement because they were as good as they were. There are a ton of questions now being asked of Man United, which historically tends not to be the case.
All right, Jules. Nedum mentioned how it set up. Just for those who didn't see the game, only saw the highlights. Rangnick was without Cristiano Ronaldo, without Edinson Cavani, without Mason Greenwood. He set up in whatever you want to call it, some sort of 4-2-2-2 formation or 4-4-2, where basically you had Alanga and Sancho in wide areas, and Bruno and Pogba centrally. You can call one false 9, false 10,
both maybe both false 9s even.
Both false, both definitely. But it kind of worked a little bit to stifle them.
Yeah, it did. To be fair, we were all waiting to see at the stadium how it would pan out, how they would play, and I think certainly for the first half hour, maybe even a little bit more, even if they were 2-1 down at that time, it worked well because they could get the ball out well. I think City struggled to deal with the Bruno and Pogba position between the lines, dropping, sometimes both dropping. So like Laporte and Stones were like, okay, do we go? Do we stay? It's always as
also because City only have one guy. There's only Rodri there in front of the back four, right?
So De Bruyne and Bernardo were obviously pushing, which means that at times you had Rodri against Bruno and Pogba. So it was very clever, I thought, from Rangnick. The issue I have is that you knew that at some point City and Pep would work out how to play against that. And when we had a little break because there was someone had a problem in the stands, and you saw Pep straight away saying Rodri, Laporte, and Cancelo, the three of you come. And then he said to Laporte, you have to push and you have to go with them. And from that moment on, City dealt much better with both Pogba and Bruno, with the way United set up. And after that, it was always the feeling of Rangnick has to change something, because if he keeps the same tactics, City are going to walk over them, and that's exactly what they did.
Is that how you see it? You expected? I mean, what could Rangnick have done different in the second half, Nedum?
I don't know. I think if you look on the bench and so on, there were players who we could have brought on to sort of maybe tweak things a little bit, but I don't know. I think, like, unfortunately with United at this moment in time, like, they have a level of talent, but they don't have that identity as such. So for City, like, a slight tweak is something which they do all the time because they come up against opposition who try and play against them in particular ways. But for United, like, I don't know, there's almost like a lack of belief, it feels like, in certain things. And then once you don't have the ball for prolonged periods, everyone just steps on the back foot, but you need bravery to be able to take on a side like City.
I'd suggest it's probably also the fact that City's manager has been there a very long time, which gives you more scope to do tweaks because you're much more of an identity.
Yeah, and the structure is stronger.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.